Hello and welcome everybody, I am SocioPsycho, and today we look at Rogue Shooter, the FPS Roguelike by Hippomancer. This is a first-person shooter, rogue-style game, as said in the title, very long title. Now, it is a retro-style game, something you'd see familiar around the 90s, and it does suffer from some issues, but it has some interesting properties as well. So we go into the options here. It's a bit confusing. There's a severe lack of screen resolutions, which is very unfortunate. I turned off the head bobbing, as you may need to as well. The game can get very motiony, very fast with the poor graphic quality of the game. As you can see here, you have a field of view, which is nice, but there's not really much options to it. And the controls are all rebindable with no issues, mouse sensitivity. Oh, and another thing is, minimizing the screen because of how it's loaded out is a pain in the butt. You can't just window out, it's like stretch full screen, double window mode. But if I hit, Alt Tab or whatever, it won't actually let me get out of the game. It keeps me in the game. Even Alt Enter won't work. And the rest of these tabs, this upgrade tab is important because while it is a roguelike and you start out with one character, your abilities can transfer over and you can upgrade, which will then give your next character that runs through a increase in stats. So it pushes you along to continue to try to get better the more you go in. So it rewards you as you play through, which is nice instead of just you having nothing to show for your time. So let's put that there. In the help option, you have all of the descriptions that you'll need. Rations. You will consume 3 rations on each floor. If you run out of rations, you will become hungry. You will never die from hunger, but it can make you sluggish. And in this game, sluggishness is not good because you will get overrun and killed. As you can see, there is quite many tabs to help you understand what's going on in the game. And you have your bestiary here, just an understanding of all the enemies. But what is interesting as well is they have weaknesses which unlock at a intelligent level. So intel drops and you gather it throughout these levels. Now on easy there's 50 levels, on normal there's 100, and on extreme I believe there's 200 levels. And as you gather intel, which keeps as your profile as a whole, not an individual class, you'll unlock these things so you can understand a little bit more. Intelligence is pretty much the currency subcategory of the game, and there are different types of units as well, and you unlock them the more intelligence you have. So it rewards you for more that you're playing, which is nice. And you also have a crafting system, and same thing. The more you know, the more you'll be able to craft with ease. And the logs is the lore of the story. Now, from what I've read so far, it is silly, but if you're really itching for a story for this world to make sense, this universe, there is one, and it does fit together no matter how silly it may be. Let's get out of that. Now the tutorial does a good job of showing you what you need to learn, but let's start the mission and show you what I'm talking about. So here you have easy, hardcore, harder core, and the extreme. We'll start off on easy because I say so. Now these perks you'll unlock very easily with an intel, so 1-2 playthroughs and you'll have all these unlocked. But you can only pick one for right now, and this is your level up category, because when you level up through the game, through experience, through killing monsters, you'll eventually gain a perk, and you can put it in one of these, and each of them obviously are different. You'll gain more intel than normal, immunity, and you can get an understanding of these. I'm not going to read all of them, but there's choices to go through. So let me show you the game. There are some issues in the game that I've found already. First off being the fact that the music there is no sound slider. That's really unfortunate. They only have play game music, play sound, and play menu music. There's no sliders for that sound. And you might wish just to turn off the music of the game as well, and you're saying, well, why? It sounds kind of good. Well, there's an issue through the game where halfway through the level, the music will just stop, and so you're there for 2-5 minutes just walking around in dead silence. And so just turning it off and playing your own music would be a bit better. Now, there is no real control over the way you aim the aim is locked into place, so I can't move my mouse up and aim up, or I can't move down. And my movement keys are AWSD, and I have my inventory is spacebar. Controls are very simple. Obviously, we don't have any gear right now. And let's go up. So like I said, there's 50 levels, and in these levels you basically fight in a rogue-like manner against random enemies. Now, as you can see, there are, on the UI, the top left blue deflect is pretty much how your armor is doing. The green is your health in the middle, and the red is the amount of threats that are still left. On the bottom left, you have a small radar tracker which tracks when you get in distance of the enemies, and there's a red dot. As you can see, there's a red dot there. You have the mini-map. Now there's no map overlay, and that's fine, because the mini-map does more of a good job. The issue I have with that is they keep it on two separate sides of the screen. Having the enemy tracker along the mini-map tracker would definitely be nice, because then you're not straining yourself looking two different ways. So we have crafting items here. Combine with effect, create another stim. This material, create a health stim, so we can increase our health. Well, not really increase it, but get back our health. We're at 82. And here you have an item, but it's damaged. And we'll go more into what that means. And then obviously you have your ammunition on the bottom side. So when we go into the actual inventory, you can see all your ammo counts. A quick way, once your floor is complete, you can quickly exit and it'll take you to the next floor. But you might want to move around the map if there's still resources that you haven't picked up, which will show as the other little blocks. Your gear. Rations we've gone over. Tools to repair your gear. You can do that every 4 levels to get to a safe house, and the money that you have. You'll see the safe house soon enough. Now this game runs at 30 FPS, and the graphic style is one of it really toes the line of, wow, you know, that's retro, I like it, or no thank you, I will pass on that. If you're used to more modern shooters, this art style may be very difficult for you to play in, which is understandable. That guy's spitting all over my face as a tar. It'll wipe off eventually, but given enough, they'll just completely black out your screen. So the movement and the combat is what really matters. And the majority of the movement is very, it's fast paced, but it's more like you're on ice. You slide around and glide. You don't move very elegantly, and many times you get stuck on corners, just like this here. So it's can be annoying in a pinch. The movement controls are not all that fleshed out, and it's very easy to get stuck on the walls or get stuck on corners. So if you look at the minimap right in front of us, there's a box, and it's a little yellow item on the minimap, and so you can see where you need to go to pick up whatever that you may have forgotten to pick up. And it carries that roguelike element in as you find items, find weapons, find power-ups, even possibly health kits, which are very rare, or you can craft items to make health kits. The movement in this is a little frustrating. Okay, let's show you this. The secure pad. This tablet can be hacked. Once you start hacking, however, you cannot stop. And if you complete the hack, you'll gain the balance that it says at the bottom. The issue I have with this is that it is a bit fast. You have to hit the... You can't run over the little green objects with your guy. You have to hit it with your cursor, and he moves so fast. The scroll rate on it's just stupid, like mouse acceleration insane. It's not a over enjoyable minigame. It's a good idea, but it doesn't really convey all that well. And so while we've gone down the movement, you know, how does it move? How does it feel? And it can be pretty difficult at times to actually hit the enemy properly, because you're sliding all over the place. The aim is based off of more of your character's position rather than aiming, because the aiming and the moving are tied into as one. It makes it a little bit difficult. But how does the weaponry feel? And most of the weaponry doesn't really feel all that impressive. As you can see, there's really no kickback. You don't feel like weapons have any weight to them, which is unfortunate. And even something as powerful as the minigun, while it can be entertaining and powerful, it doesn't feel powerful. And it's an interesting thing to say because it obviously has damage output on it, but it doesn't feel enjoyable to play with. And I feel that's the issue with the majority of the weapons. Now, if that's something you can still get past, the roguelike element of the game is good. It offers a wide berth of monsters, as well as a huge option for crafting and everything else. So here we have the safe room and a vendor, which is pretty nice. You can buy bullets, ammunition, explosives for rocket launcher. These tools, what we're gonna get here. Weapons and armor, sometimes pick up an armor thing, and we can't increase the health because we're poor, so we'll get out of that. And you pick up weaponry. Now, the issue I have with this is that it's really nice to be able to pick up weapons and go through a map and find other collectibles, find secret items, but where you can increase your bag space. So if we go to perks, we go to strong back. At first you're upset, we don't go, yeah, and see we gain more inventory space. But the problem is the carrying around stuff that you can't use really has no value or purpose. And that's unfortunate because once you get to a safe room, which is every 4 levels, you cannot sell anything. There's nothing to sell. You cannot sell anything because the vendor you can only buy stuff at, you can't sell stuff at. And that's really unfortunate. When we go into the workbench here, you can see we can easily just repair by pressing E and repair any gear that's damaged or even weaponry, because the more you use your weapons, they will lose durability, which is nice. Now you're saying, okay, well then what's the highlight of this game? You know, maybe I don't enjoy the graphic settings, maybe I can get by the way the walking is, it's understandable. But why should I be intrigued by it? Well, it does have a large variation of different creatures and weaponry, which can be quite funny. It has a unique layer of units, which if put together can cause you a bunch of issues. The aiming is very difficult. This squid guy here makes, come on. And the combat is not all that fun. You get swarmed by enemies. Now you do have mines that you can use and special ability items here, and these items do stack. And you're basically just jumping around or teleporting or using your weaponry as you feel you need, but you never really feel strong or powerful or like it can get repetitive. Now sometimes there is where the correct circumstances can happen due to the differences in levels. Your map can be fuzzy, the passageways can be dark, and because of these change in circumstances, it can get you a little blood raised, tempo going, something of that nature. Another disappointing aspect of the game is the fact that it has no save. I mean, it's a roguelike game, but it's also a casual game. And for a casual game not to have a save means you have to try to play through the game all at once. And that is not something that can really... It's something that can be done, but it's not practical. You know, telling people, hey, this is more of a casual style game with roguelike elements, but you have to play it all at once is contradictory to the very nature of the game. Which goes back into it. If you leave, do you want to exit the main menu? All progress will be lost. So like I said, there is no save. Show you the dog launcher here. Rare weapon. Save me, puppy! And you go into, when you die, you go into this, and you can see the hardest core memorial. But another thing that I find very disturbing is the fact that this game doesn't have a leaderboard. Something that is roguelike should have a leaderboard. Make it as far as you can on the hardest setting, the quickest time perhaps, but there's none of that. I feel like this game is incomplete. It's so close, it could just some minor tweakage and it could be a little bit better. Fix the pitch controlling of movement, the stickiness of the walls so you don't get stuck on them. Add a timer that could be optional, turn it on off, or a mode that says play in leaderboard mode so your information is recorded. You know, something that would be a bit more captivating. But the trick is being able to handle the aesthetic of how the game plays and want to play the game for hours at a time because there's no save option. People will enjoy this and that's perfectly fine, but it's a shame the game is not as fleshed out as it could have been, and I really would have liked to see something with a bit more polish. But the part where it fell through is the combat. I mean, that's one thing you're going to be doing more than anything else, and it has silly aspects to it, but it doesn't have weight behind it. When I shot that dog, why wasn't there a sound aspect with it? Why didn't the dog go, oh? make a little like squeak or something. Same thing with all these weapons. They feel light, not heavy. They are quiet. They don't really have a recoil. There's a severe lack of depth behind the combat system of the game. So I hope you enjoy it more than I do, and I really hope it gets patched and some of these things get fixed. Thank you everybody for watching. I have been SocioPsycho, and I will see you next time. Stay tuned for more glorious reviews coming down the tube for you.